We're looking at our floral scrapbooking dazzles here, and what's so neat about these dazzles is that they are designed for our 12 by 12 scrapbooking pages. We'll take a look at how that works in a second. Let's go ahead and pull it out of our packaging here. You'll notice on the back we've got a couple project ideas for you, hopefully to inspire you on different ways you can use these dazzles in combinations with some of our other papers and products. Again, down here, you'll find 121 pieces in this set of dazzles, and that's not including the innies that you're going to find. So with our dazzles here, when you remove the outer layer, that sticker that has the image you want to use, you're going to have some pieces left at the center, and you can lift those off using a transfer sheet and apply them to paper to get the innies. So you'll also have the extra benefit of having those to play with. And we've got some tips here on how to remove the dazzles and how to apply them to your project, and we'll take a look at doing that in just a second. When you open up your package of dazzles, you'll find that you'll have 3 different sheets in here. So these sheets combine to make 12 by 12 pieces. I'll show you that on our border in just a second. So you might want to just go ahead and pull those out to start with. They're just lightly adhered to the back of the sheet. And let's take a look first at removing one of the flowers. Now, when you go to remove the flowers on this sheet, you're going to want to be a little careful because they've got an outer petal and an inner petal, and you want to make sure to lift both of those. So you can just kind of fold it, use your fingernail to peel up and get it started. And when you get here to the inner petal, you might want to just use your fingernail to peel that part up as well. And then you can just kind of work your way around, lifting those outer and inner petals. And once you get a couple of them started, you'll be able to kind of pull up away from you and get those other ones to come right off. Once you've got the dazzle, you'll notice you've got a couple innies in there. You could come back later and use a transfer sheet to pull those off. You could use an X-Acto knife to lift off this inner flower and apply it to your project as well. Let's take a look at placing the outline we've got now. I brought in some black cardstock here just so you can see it as much as possible. We're just going to lay it down on our paper. You can kind of press from the inside to the outer petals, making sure that everything is placed down. And a couple ideas for you on these dazzles. You could place them onto colored cardstock like we have here. You could place them onto patterned papers or specialty papers like vellum. You could place them onto white paper as well and then use chalks or paints or colored pencils or pens to embellish the inner areas. So you've got a lot of options there. And we're also going to take a look at placing our border dazzles. That's the neat thing with these 12 by 12 scrapbooking dazzles. You've got 2 pieces of the border, 2 6-inch pieces that connect to create a 12-inch border. And that's going to be really helpful for you because as you peel these off and stick them down, it would be kind of difficult and cumbersome to do that using a 12 by 12 border. So having them in those smaller segments is really going to help out. And as you get started on your border here and pull it across, these dazzles are pretty sturdy, so they might resist a little. Just give them a little bit of a tug and keep peeling them off there. If any of these little parts on your swirls start to stick, you might want to use your fingernail or an X-Acto knife to help peel those up. And then you can go ahead and place this border. We'll place it along this edge of our paper here. And we'll lay that out. So that's the first part. If you've got any bubbles or anything, these dazzles are pretty forgiving. You can just kind of peel that up and replace it there and then smooth it out and press it in. So again, we really appreciate how forgiving these dazzles are. You've got another segment to that border here on that same page. So you can go ahead and peel that up. Again, these peel off pretty easily, so if those little parts of your swirls, those little edges do stick a little, just use your fingernail to help peel them off. And you'll notice that this part of our border is kind of curved, and it lays right next to the border that we just placed. And you can kind of butt it up against that edge. And once you've got that in place, you can lay out the rest of your border. And that creates that nice 12-inch overall effect of your border here. So you've got that option. Again, if that didn't quite stick where you wanted, you can smooth it back out. So neat to have that option. You could also use these independently as frames on a smaller photo if you wanted to just frame the top or bottom of your photo. There are a couple more tricks for you on using these Dazzles. We've shown using them on specialty papers and on pattern papers. You could also embellish the Dazzle itself. So if you wanted to go back over this Dazzle and make it a different color, you could use permanent markers, all surface ink pads like Stays-On ink pads to add some color to that. And you could do that simply by placing this Dazzle on a sheet protector or on the plastic packaging that comes around your Dazzles and applying the ink and then removing it and sticking it onto your project. You could also reverse your Dazzle and use the sticky side. So when you peel it from your sheet, you could use the side that has the sticker on it and apply glitter to that side, glitter or flock, and that would stick right on the sticky part of your Dazzle. You could then apply glue to the top side and glue it to your project so that you have a glittered or flocked embellishment for your project. So there are really lots of ways to use these Dazzles, lots of ways to embellish them before adding them to your project or after, and lots of ways of combining them. You could stack some of these together. You could layer them with different elements of your project. So again, you've got 121 pieces here, plus all those innies, and hopefully some of the things you've seen will help inspire you on how to use those.